Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the first half banners of Genshin 3.5. The 5 stars on the banners will be characters that have already been revealed, being the new 5-star Pyro character Dehya and the new rerun Electro character Cyno, with the 4 stars now being confirmed as Barbara, Cole, and Bennett. The weapon banner having the new 5-star Claymore, Beacon of the Red Sea, and a rerun of Staff of the Scarlet Sands. I'm gonna talk about the character banners first, and then I'm gonna talk about the weapon banner later. So let's start with the new 5-star Pyro character Dehya. She's going to be the new 5-star of the patch, and when looking at her gameplay from the live stream a week ago, so basically how Dehya works is that from her elemental skill, when you proc it, she leaves a field where over time when you're dealing damage to opponents, it deals pyro damage to the enemy over time. And it looks like it has a second trigger where it takes away the field, where she does a dive on the enemy at the position where you're at and then replants the field with the remaining duration that it had before, which is kind of unique of kind of the characters that we have gotten that kind of works like this, similar to like Albedo. And when looking at her elemental burst, the way she works is that she goes into a stance change, making her fist into pyro, and it looks like it does automated pyro punches to the enemy where you have no control over it, which is kind of weird. I can tell that she's defined as like a quick swap damage defensive character where you bring her in, use her elemental burst to deal some damage, and then swap her out after using her elemental skill, which leaves a field behind and gives some defensive buffs to your on-field character, mainly being resistance to interruption. And whenever you deal damage to the enemy, it deals some pyro damage over time. I can tell you from right out the bat, she's going to be a character that you don't really need to pull for, mainly because she doesn't really have that much going for her. Yes, I have seen the leaks and a lot of the discussion about her not being good because of her damage and a lot that she doesn't really give out for your party to make her valuable in putting her in your team. And from all the information that we do know about her, it is understandable that she doesn't have that much going for her. She is designed to be like a burst damage carry from the look of it. She is meant to be something different that a lot of people don't really like, considering that a lot of the Genshin player base don't really favor defensive characters that much because they want more damage heavy characters that deal a lot of damage because that makes the game more fun for them and is a more popularized kind of type of character that a lot of people would like to have compared to someone like, let's say, Kokomi or Zhongli, where all they do is provide defensive utility, but even though they are very strong, that is not like something that is very popularized compared to someone like Yelan, Hu Tao that has just came out recently, where they can utilize elemental reactions from both off-field or on-field and deal a whole load of damage. And usually when I look at characters that are going to be releasing, I kind of think about, well, what teams can I fit them in that will make them valuable? And with Dehya's case, there's really not that much of teams that would need or would want Dehya or can utilize her as being the main damage carry. When looking at her elemental burst again, it looks like you're doing normal attacks, but from the description from the live stream that they gave us about her elemental burst, it seems that it's automatic and you don't really have any control over it, because usually when they do showcases like this on the live stream, they sometimes showcase the animation a bit, like they do a normal attack, wait a few seconds, and then continuously do auto attacks to see how they fully look like in animation. But with Dehya, they kind of continuously showed her doing punches, kind of making it look like that you don't really have any control of when to do a punch, which is going to be kind of weird because we don't really have any character that kind of works like that, where do continuous attack and you have no control over it. From the footage of the live stream that I analyzed, it seems that she does a total of 10 punches before doing a dive kick at the end of the animation that deals a lot more pyro damage at the end of the rotation. Even though she doesn't have that much going for her, I think the only thing about Dehya that can be beneficial in terms of maybe utilizing her in the team is how much resistance to interruption can she give. Because I think the amount of resistance to interruption that she can give to your on-field character can give her some usage in some team comps that can utilize that resistance. But in the end, she doesn't really have that much going for her, and she doesn't seem to have any additional value that she can give to your account. I think it's an easy skip to not go for Dehya, mainly because she doesn't really seem she has a lot going for her, mainly because she doesn't have anything unique that she can add to your account, and also the fact that she's going to be on standard banner after 3.5, unless you really like the character and you want to still play them regardless of their power level. But at the same time, please keep in mind of the value that you are putting in for a character that may not have a lot going for them in the beginning. So definitely think over if this character is definitely worth for you, especially any character that comes out in the future. So for my advice for anyone that is interested in pulling Dehya, to wait until patch day and see people playing her to see if she's really worth your primos. I will be rolling for Dehya on patch day, so definitely sub to the channel if you want to check out my showcase video on her, and check out my Twitch where I will be live testing her on patch day, so definitely check that out, link in the description. And when moving on to cyno, this is his first rerun. He's an on-field burst carry that deals consistent electro damage, where whenever you use his elemental burst, he goes into his stance change and turns his normal attacks into electro, and has some syncing with his elemental skill that deals AoE electro damage. And the main way to utilize cyno is mainly with elemental reactions like Electro Charge, and some with Dendro like Aggravate or Hyper Bloom. But even though he could be utilized in some strong elemental reactions, he's not the best in terms of utilizing those compared to other characters, similar to like Kaching, who is much better in utilizing those compared to cyno. And since Kaching is a day 1 character from the standard banner, cyno isn't really that much value to your account. Even though you can make him work, it's not that much compared to like Kaching and also other characters like Raiden, so he's mainly a personal choice if you really like him as a character, similar to like Dehya but slightly better in his role. And when moving on to the 4 stars, there's not really much to talk about. Barbara can be a good healer, but not really the best in terms of other choices that are available. Cole, even though she's already given out for free similar to like Barbara, she doesn't really have that much value that you can get from her as a Dendro character compared to the other characters that have already been released or future characters that are going to be released like Baiju or Kaveh. She's not a character that I would recommend building, but she can be utilized as a Dendro character if you don't really have that many Dendro choices. I think this is the only good thing about the banner, where if you're pulling for Dehya, I think the only best support to utilize her with is Bennett, because 1, he's pyro, and 2, he gives a lot of attack, which I think Dehya scales off of, even though she does scale off some HP, but I don't think HP is going to be that massive of an increase compared to like attack. So definitely utilize Bennett with Dehya if you are planning to pull for her. And when moving on to the weapon banner, this is a pretty okay banner. They're both crit stat weapons. The beacon is a crit rate claymore. It's the first crit rate claymore that we have gotten that is a 5-star, and judging from its passive, it's at the medium range of 33 crit rate with a base attack of 608, with the passive being somewhat decent for Dehya and mainly works with Dehya because part of it gives her 40-ish% attack, which is pretty good and useful, but at the end it gives her some good amount of HP, even though I don't think it's going to be that massive increase compared to like attack, but it is pretty nice and can only be utilized with Dehya and not really any other characters, even though the attack can be useful. And the Staff of the Scarlet Sands is a pretty solid weapon for cyno and not really much for others if you're really wanting the crit rate from it. But overall, I think this weapon banner is kinda okay. It's pretty decent because both weapons are crit stat and can be used on basically any character if you're mainly wanting the crit stat from it. And that's everything I have to say about the first half 3.5 banners. Thank you guys so much for watching. Overall, I think these banners are kinda they're not really that much value for your account. I think the character banners are mainly personal choice if you really want the characters that are on those banners. Again, remember, if you are interested in pulling Dehya, she is going to be on the standard banner after 3.5, where it's okay to skip Dehya on her limited banner, where you can potentially get her from losing a 50-50. And that is all for this video. Hope you guys find it helpful. If you did, please consider leaving a like, subscribe for more content in the future. Check me out on Twitch, the link will be in the description below. That's it for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.